Good afternoon, New Orleans, or wherever you are. I'm Michelle Godin, and along with Tom Kowitz, we are Baldy and The Blonde here every Wednesday at 4, because we are radical radio for radical times. So much tyranny, so little time. Looking at the events of the day with skepticism. How you doing there, Mr. Baldy?
Well, I'm on some new equipment, and I hope it works. How do I sound? I hope it's better than the phone.
It sounds really, really good to me through the earphones, but I can only usually tell the problems later when I listen to the show that was recorded when you were calling in on the phone. So,
Nah, I think it's fine.
yeah, I think, anyway, I have a few people, maybe you do too, listening, and they're going to text me if anything's wrong. Or,
all of my friends tell me I sound terrible.
Well, it hasn't been great for the new listeners. Tom calls in because he's not in the studio for about half of the year. So it's much better when he's here, but he's got some new equipment that supposedly makes it. I forget the name. What is that equipment called? Because it's like, what is it called?
Oh, generically, it's a mixer.
No. But they call it something in the studio where it's like, what is it? I don't know, but it's something like real time, but it's more clear than that. So it's supposed to sound good, and we'll get some feedback hopefully and find out how it actually sounds. But today, what are we talking about today, Tom?
Well, same thing everybody's talking about. It's late breaking news. I just sent you something right before we went on the air. Did you see it? It's only about an hour old.
Nope. What is it?
It is.
I couldn't see it right away because I have to drive down to the studio. So
well, she's referring Obama for criminal charges to the Department of Justice.
Wow.
Wow. That was announced about an hour ago.
Is there a press release or something
that
you can we start with that? Can you tell me, what does it say?
Well, honestly, I haven't even had a chance to read the story except for just the first couple of paragraphs.
Okay.
And I can read her quote. I don't have a clip because it's so new.
No. I'm not looking for a clip. I'm just going to go to Citizen Free Press or something, or you could.
Well, I don't know if you'll see it there. You'll see it on Zero Hedge.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Or you want to just, yeah, it's not on Zero.
But
tell me what you got. Read to me what Zero Hedge is.
Well, basically just that. It's late breaking news that she's referring Obama to the DOJ. And she just says basically the same thing that our listeners will hear in the clips that we've prepared.
Okay.
The difference is that she has taken the step of referring him for criminal charges to the DOJ.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll see if we can get some details on that on the break. But yeah, we are prepared to talk about the really shocking revelations by the super brave Tulsi Gabbard in the last week, showing that the entire Russia collusion hoax was indeed a hoax, and it's worse than that. It was manufactured. It was absolutely a manufactured, fake, fake story in order to not. And I'm really actually Tulsi actually said it this way, and you and I talk about this a lot. A lot of times, anything that they're doing when they go after Trump, either with lawfare to stop the immigration policy that we all voted for, it'll be like as though it's against Donald Trump, or Donald Trump was in collusion with Russia, or Donald Trump this, but it's not. It's the will of the voters of the United States of America that has been subverted by the collusion, the real collusion between the media, which could not be anymore like a communist propaganda machine, and the left. So that's what we have here.
Yeah, I'd like to say that it's not shocking that these people did this. Obama, Clapper, was it Comey, and I forget who else, Brennan, I think she's
right. You and I have been following Clapper and Brennan before, I don't know, Barack was even born, or
it's
created.
It's not shocking that they did this at all. In fact, frankly, a lot of us knew within the first 5 minutes of them, not even 5 minutes. I knew as soon as they said Russia was behind this, right. I knew right away. Nope, there's not a chance. It's not shocking that they did this. Truly, what's shocking is that it's coming out by someone in Tulsi Gabbard's position. She's director of national intelligence. That's shocking. That doesn't really happen in the United States.
Never. And, think of how hard. I mean, I would say she had almost as much pushback as the other former Democrat, RFK Jr., in her confirmation hearings. And now we know why. Because she has always been, when she was a Democrat and ran for president as a Democrat in 2016, she has always been principled and fiercely pro-Constitution, pro-American freedom, anti-war. Everything that the left and the rhinos hate is Tulsi Gabbard. And she's a woman of integrity and ethics who has served her country, who has, brought herself from nothing to this position. And, I mean, she's just extremely admirable. But now we know why they fought so hard against her confirmation.
Yeah, principled is the perfect word for her. And she seeks the truth. And they do not like that in Washington.
Oh, no. No.
So we have clips from her. And we also we do have one from Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's kind of the overview, right?
Yeah, he's basically summarizing what Tulsi's told us. If you want to go to that, we can go to that. If you want to go right to Tulsi, that's your call too.
I say at this point, let's just talk about what Trump said real quick, because I don't really think we need it, and we have so much else. But we can always come back to it. But basically, he just says, what they've done to me and the American people is terrible. So, and it's time to go after people. It's enough. He goes, I'll let Hillary go, whatever. She was the wife of a former president. I regret it, but this has got to stop. So, and so maybe we first start with which one, Tom?
Well, we have 3 clips from an interview that she gave on Fox on Sunday. We could just start with clip number 12, where she calls it a treasonous conspiracy directed by President Obama. That's clip 12.
Not mincing any words. Here we go.
The implications of this are, frankly, nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office, after President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American, because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. What we saw occur here, as the documents we released detailed, was that we had a sitting president of the United States and his cabinet and leadership team, quite frankly, who were not happy with the fact that President Trump had won the election. And so they decided that they would do everything possible to try to undermine his ability to do what voters tasked President Trump to do. So creating this piece of manufactured intelligence that claims that Russia had helped Donald Trump get elected contradicted every other assessment that had been made previously in the months leading up to the election that said exactly the opposite, that Russia had neither the intent nor the capability to try to, quote unquote, hack the United States election for the presidency of the United States.
I mean, yeah, that takes a lot of courage to say that.
Yeah, straight up calls it manufactured evidence.
Which is what it was.
It's fake. It's another word for fake, like you said. That's
totally
all this
fake.
is. It's all made up.
And I'm willing right here to just do a little brief timeline, because I found one that I thought was very helpful. December 7th, 2016, Trump has been elected in November. There is a CIA and other intelligence assessment of whether or not Russia tampered with the election. And guess what the answer was from the CIA before there was some meddling?
Well, it was no, they didn't have the intent, and they didn't have the ability.
Correct. So there was none. Okay, so December 8th, the next day, that assessment was canceled, quote, based on new guidance, close quote. And December 9th, Obama orders a new assessment, which is later issued in January based on nothing. They just literally made it up.
Well, yeah, based on spite and malice.
You're kind of going out there a little bit.
Right.
But no, I'm spite and malice. But I'm just saying, technically, your voice goes out every now and then. I don't know what's going on. But did you hear that, Kobe? Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. It's our first.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We're new at this.
With the new equipment.
With new equipment.
So it literally made it up. And what did they use that for? And that's important. We have 58 seconds, but when we come back, we're going to play some more clips. But the reason that this was manufactured was because then what did you hear forever, from the minute Trump took office and was attempting to institute the will of the American voters, he was sabotaged by Russia collusion. They appoint a special prosecutor because, long story, but his AG was a weenie who stepped aside and let that happen in the face of no evidence, and they completely derailed his first term with this Russia nonsense, which people still, I guess, believe, but it was always a lie. And now people are finally somebody's going to pay for their lies. And when we come back after the break, we will get into some more clips from Tulsi Gabbard and some analysis of, and maybe some speculation. Is anybody going to jail? Hope so. Baldy and the Blonde. Welcome back to Baldy and the Blonde. We are discussing, like everyone else, the very hot water that the Obama administration higher-ups are in for having manufactured and lied to the American people about the so-called Russia collusion, starting with using a document that was so ridiculous that Hillary Clinton paid for and pretended was legal fees, called the Steele dossier, and basically overrode and overlooked the actual conclusions of the Intelligence Department. Obama yanked that and ordered a new assessment, which made up out of whole cloth and included the Russian dossier as a basis to thwart the will of the voters who elected Trump and not Hillary. And that's what happened. So hopefully we will finally see some accountability for the brazen criminality of the left.
Well, let me say this before we get back into the sound clips. So whether it's about this or something like the Epstein files or whatever it might be, we often hear, oh, that's just politically motivated. But so what if it is? Because the real question is it true? Because if political corruption is outed, who cares what the motivation is? So maybe this is politically motivated to go after Obama. But if he did it, do you care?
I mean, I care because I don't appreciate that. First of all, we have at a great disadvantage if you're not on the left, in that the right does not think monolithically, and they do not pursue our agenda. We have so many factions, so that it's so much easier to throw us off by fake political attacks than it is the left. And the left has the entire media on their side as though it is the USSR, Soviet Union, and Pravda. So, I mean, I don't think it is politically motivated. But even if it is, I agree with you. No. So what? This is true.
This is politically motivated. Who cares? So what? First of all, I don't believe it is. It's motivated by seeking, the truth.
The truth.
But even if it's politically motivated, I don't care if it ends up being true.
Well, I think it's pretty unassailable that it is true, that it was a lie, it was manufactured, and what we now have is or additional documents that prove it and that tie it to the highest levels. We've gotten as high as Brennan and Clapper before, the two creepiest people that, have ever been in government that I can think of. And their boss now, Obama. So, anyway, it's very...
Well, and you know how the best lies, they say, have a kernel of truth?
Yes.
These lies, there's not a kernel of truth.
None. Zero.
And
there's whistleblowers coming forward, too, from the Obama administration saying, hey, not me. I'm not going down with this.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to hear Tulsi say in these clips coming up that the stories that these guys made up were the exact opposite of what the intelligence community was saying.
Yeah.
So not only was it not true, it was the exact opposite.
And that is new. And let me just say that there are independent journalists who, if anything, lean to the left, like, say, Matt Taibbi, who says he's astounded. If you go read some of his recent articles, he goes, in brutal document release, the Russia hoax is finally exposed. And he just goes on and on about how unbelievably, I think he called it a clown show or something, but it's just, people who are honest are looking at this as the biggest scandal ever.
Well, and to our credit, you and I saw this
A
for
long
the PS
time
than
ago.
it was
Yeah.
immediately.
Immediately.
Seriously, as soon as they said the word Russia, we rolled our eyes.
Yeah, we just laughed. We're like, oh,
No
everything, yeah,
way.
Russia.
No way.
So ridiculous. All right,
Anyway,
here's.
so
Go
yeah,
ahead.
we can move on to the clips if you like.
Want to
That'd be
introduce
clip
the next
number.
one? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, then again, this is from an interview that Tulsi Gabbard gave on Sunday on Fox with Maria Bartiromo. Is that how she said her name?
Bartiromo. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Bartiromo. Okay. So anyway, that's clip 13.
Okay, here we go.
In early December, the first week of December, again, another document was produced by the Intelligence Committee, a President's Daily Brief, that was consistent with every other assessment that was done previously leading up to the election. Russia did not, this is after the election now, did not attempt to affect the outcome of the American election. That was never published. Hours before it would have gone into President Obama's President's Daily Brief, it was pulled by a senior level intelligence official saying that they had to pull it because they had received new guidance. The very next day, this meeting was called, a National Security Council meeting, bring together all of the senior leaders of President Obama's cabinet. The tasks that came out of that meeting was coming from President Obama directing the intelligence community, then Obama's ODNI director Clapper, to produce an intelligence assessment that detailed not if, but how Moscow affected the outcome of the election that had already occurred. In early December.
Whoop, sorry. Okay, so just going back over the timeline again. First thing she said was December 7th. The assessment reiterates Russia did not tamper with the election. December 8th, that document is not released. It is pulled based on new guidance.
Which came from Obama.
And December 9th, Obama orders a new assessment, which comes out in January based on lies and manufactured so-called evidence.
He told him what it needed to say.
Yeah, not as Tulsi said, not if Russia interfered, but how. In direct contravention with what intelligence had already said, which was they did not. Oh, my God. It's so bad.
Again, not shocking that he would do that. Shocking that it has come out at this level and that he's been referred for criminal charges.
Yes. Well,
That's
that part,
shocking.
yeah, I'm going to try to read that on the hard break in the middle. But, yes, Tom has announced that right before we came on the air, there was an announcement that Tulsi Gabbard has referred Barack Obama for criminal prosecution. Wow.
All right, then we have clip 14.
Yeah.
It's a short one.
Here we go.
Talks about what she's going to do with this information.
Here we go.
There must be indictments. Those responsible, no matter how powerful they are and were at that time, no matter who was involved in creating this treasonous conspiracy against the American people, they all must be held accountable.
Well, don't you love that treasonous conspiracy against who? The American people.
Yeah, she
Finally.
actually does. She does address that repeatedly, just like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Tulsi's been good about that.
She has. She's
Reminding people that they're not just going after Trump, going after the will of the people.
And that, honestly, Trump does say that a lot, but it is true. They're going after him because they really want to come after us. And, it's something we talk about a lot, that most of the West has really turned into authoritarian, totalitarian states, like England, where people are put in jail for memes, saying something about a Muslim who killed a bunch of little girls, lands a lady with a 30-month sentence, while, meanwhile, actual criminals walk around for free. And that's the direction we were headed in. And I have no doubt that had that Kamala won, we would be in a terrible way right now. And instead, we're seeing the light of day, the sunshine, the best disinfectant being shown us via the actual documents that exist. So we have 30 seconds left. So when we come back, we'll continue to dissect this and use the words of Tulsi Gabbard and others who are analyzing what happens now. And I have one interesting clip, and I'm going to try to play it about where this prosecution could take place, because as we all know, if it's in Washington, D.C., and you're a Democrat, you literally could kill your mama on the street and get away with it. So we're Baldy and the Blonde. You can listen to all our shows at baldyandtheblonde.com without commercials. We're here every Wednesday at 4. Welcome back to Baldy and the Blonde. I'm Michelle Godin here with Tom Coates every Wednesday at 4. How you doing, Tom?
I'm loving my new equipment. I
Yeah.
sound much better.
Yes, you do. I'm getting good reports from listeners. There's been a tiny little glitch where a couple of times, it's called clean feed, by the way. Your voice just snipped off at the end of a word, but we'll talk about it more later. But we're gonna get it right, y'all. So don't worry. Anyway, we of course, like everyone else in America, are talking about the potential criminal. Well, there is a criminal referral, but the potential for Barack Obama to be indicted. And here's why I think it's possible. And I'm going to try to play a clip. Usually Tom's in charge of all these things, but I'm going to try to play something because it's a criminal lawyer talking about where this indictment might be filed and how it might proceed. So let me give it a shot and see if it works.
There'll be a grand jury. There should be a grand jury in the Southern District of Florida, a special grand jury to investigate this, where all these people can come and testify or take the fifth. Barack Obama, James Brennan, John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey, everybody, Lisa Monaco, they'll all be going to Florida. That's where this grand jury is going to be. I predict there will be a grand jury in Florida in the not too distant future. That's how you create accountability through the criminal justice system. Congress can hold hearings. That's wonderful. I'm all for it. But nobody gets punished in a congressional hearing. This conspiracy against President Trump deserves punishment, not just a lecture. People need to go to prison.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine a grand jury in Florida versus the D.C. rubber stamp leftist communist grand juries and jury system and judges? I mean, what a breath of fresh air that would be.
Well, I hope that can happen because you're right. In D.C. or any blue city, forget about it.
Forget about it. Totally forget about it. I mean, they have, a 99% of the electorate in D.C. voted for a Democrat. They haven't voted for a Republican. I don't know when. So they're certainly not going to indict Barack Obama. And look, that's a tough one, right? I mean, but it sure didn't stop. The people, like I said, on the right, we are not monolithic thinkers. And I don't even know if I'm on the right. I'm just not a leftist. But for sure, we tend to go, that's not how good for the country is this. But you know what? Those gloves are off. Those days are over. And it is time for accountability and to find out that the President of the United States was lying and creating fake evidence to subvert the will of the voter. He needs to go to jail. I mean, he needs to go to jail. That's disgusting.
Let me read to you the denial or the explanation that came out of now that news reports don't say it came from Obama. It said it came from Obama's office, whatever that is. Came yesterday. And he's talking about the document dump, the things that Tulsi's been releasing.
Right.
It says, this is a quote, "Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes." But that's not the allegation.
That's not the allegation.
It's the weakest denial I have ever read.
Well, that's what they do. He does not deny the allegation that December 7th, there's a document that says Russia did nothing. December 8th, His Highness Barack says, we ain't going with that. Pull it. We never see the December 8th document until now, which says it was not Russia. And on December 9th, he orders a new assessment to find out how, not if, how Russia influenced the election to help Donald Trump, of which there was zero evidence. In fact, and I'm going to go off on a little tangent, the evidence was that they preferred Hillary because he was more unpredictable. And with Hillary, they certainly knew who they were getting. So for every reason under the sun, this is an abomination and, a threat to our democracy from the whiny crybaby communists who say that all the time while they steal and plunder elections and subvert the legitimate will of the electorate. So to hell with them, and it's time for accountability. And Tulsi, by the way, came right back. Go ahead, Tom.
They don't care about democracy. They don't care about truth. They don't care about justice. They care about being in power.
That's
and
it.
having control. That's it. It's obvious.
So obvious.
Just look around and you can see that.
So disgusting. And like all leftists, they preach whatever as they sit in their mansions, right? Look at Barack, Mr. Climate Change, Mr. Whatever, sitting on Martha's Vineyard, surrounded by the ocean, and right, the Atlantic on one side, and his other multi-million-dollar giant house in the Pacific Ocean and Hawaii, right? I mean, it's just. And then in Martha's Vineyard, when they got 30 illegals shipped to him, I mean,
for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, they kept him overnight. Said, "Okay, bye. Here's a bowl of chili. See you later. Bye bye." Two-faced lying garbage. Time for them to go to jail. So I'm gonna try to play a little something. But anyway,
They don't believe.
Oh, sorry. Tulsi did just say, basically, look, he hasn't countered anything that we said. All he said was,
oh God, no.
blah blah blah. So
no. Well, I read the entire response from Obama's office. Not even Obama.
It's garbage.
It was pathetic.
Pathetic. Because he can't. It's irrefutable. And that's a problem. I mean, any fair assessment shows that this is manufactured evidence, which was to the detriment of the country. $40 million spent on that Russia collusion BS, all right, on the Mueller investigation, only to have even Mueller say there was no evidence. But, I mean,
right.
The main
and
objective
the timeline
was
you gave-
accomplished. They got rid of Flynn, who was the only guy in Trump's first administration that knew what was going on, because Trump had no idea what Washington Snakeville was really like. And he knew. So they got rid of him because of this fake lying BS. So disgusting.
So Tulsi I think it was yesterday. Oh no, you know what? It was this morning.
Yeah.
About 8:00 this morning. She posted lies that she could point to in response to Obama's office's response.
Yeah.
And so here's lie number one is Putin and the Russian government helped Trump win the 2016 election. That's the lie. Here's what she says is the truth. President Obama and John Brennan and others fabricated the Russia hoax, suppressed intelligence showing Putin was preparing for a Clinton victory, manufactured findings from shoddy sources, disobeyed intelligence community standards, and knowingly lied to the American people.
Wow.
Again, this is something that she put out just today. Lie number two.
This is in response to his little denial, weak denial. Yeah.
Exactly. His non-denial waste of breath.
Number two.
Second lie is the fabricated Steele dossier was not used as a source in the Obama administration's January 2017 intelligence community assessment of the November 2016 election. So, of course, it was used.
Of course, and it was used. It's cited. It's in the it's in the declassified documents. The actual stupid Russia PP tape thing is in it.
So here's what Tulsi says is the truth. Not only did CIA Director Brennan, FBI Director Comey, DNI Clapper, and others include the Steele dossier in the 2017 ICA, the Intelligence Community Assessment, but they overruled senior intel officials who warned them it was fabricated and should not be used.
Yep.
That's the truth, according to Tulsi.
Wow, huh? I mean, overruled. These are CIA guys, not exactly Trump's friends saying, yeah, this whole Russian thing is fake. Take it out. And Brennan, the demon, overruled it and insisted that it be put in, sending us off on a 3-year journey of nonstop Russia, right? Which also, by the way, helped them with their Ukraine war because everybody was like, oh, Russia, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, demonizing Russia, who should be our friend. Thank you. I mean, I'm not saying we have to be best friends, but why can't we trade with them and have normal relations? What is this? So ridiculous.
All right, here's lie number 3 that Tulsi is shoving back in Obama's face. The lie is the Obama administration's January ICA was an independent intelligence community product produced with apolitical analysis. So politics was not involved at all, of course.
Right, of course, yeah.
And what Tulsi says the truth is, Obama ordered the intelligence community to create an intelligence community assessment they knew was false, promoting a contrived narrative with the intent of undermining the legitimacy and power of a duly elected president of the United States, Donald Trump.
Wow.
So basically, effecting a coup is what they were trying to do.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
because he'd already been elected.
Yes, because he'd been elected for a month when they put these wheels in motion. And why did they do it? Because it was if we go back to Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, we've got an insurance policy if he does win, right? Remember that?
Yep. Yeah.
And those two weasels, the Biden administration paid them money, $1 million each, because their government phones were spied on. Yes.
Yeah, like the rest
It's
of
your
us.
work phone.
Where's
okay?
my money?
Yeah. So they were actually paid to be part of this. So it's it's just disgusting.
Well, and then there's the 6 Ways to Sunday comment by Chuck Schumer.
Yeah. I might have that handy. Let me see.
Oh, we have
I think it's
that.
in my Google Drive from last week. Maybe
It is from
Yeah.
last week.
Let me see if I can
Or
pull
maybe
it up.
2 weeks ago.
Oh wait, we might have time, huh? That's pretty short, but we'll play it on the way back just to show how nasty these people are. I think I still have access to it, but anyway, we are Baldy and the Blonde here discussing the pending, hopefully, accountability on behalf of the American people whose will in voting was subverted by the left, who lied to us and who has now completely been proved. Well, it will be proven in a court of law, but it's proven to my satisfaction that we have been lied to. Things have been covered up by the left on behalf of their leftist agenda. We're Baldy and the Blonde. You can follow us on X at Baldy Blonde and baldyandtheblonde.com. Like us on Facebook. This is Baldy and the Blonde. I'm Michelle Godin here with Tom Coates. Every Wednesday at 4, you can listen to all our shows on baldyandtheblonde.com without commercial interruption. Tom, I believe we've been talking extensively about the treachery of the intelligence agencies, right?
Well, and the former president, right?
Correct.
It goes all the way.
Yeah,
to the top.
we've been whining about Brennan and Clapper for years. Clapper's a guy who,
yes.
under oath, told Congress that the government was not spying on Americans, and of course that turned out to be a big fat lie. But because he's of the left,
Well, it
nothing
depends
happened.
on what the meaning of the word Americans is,
That's-
or spying is, or,
right.
or is, or me is, or you is.
So right when Trump came into office, or maybe it was even before, Chuck Schumer let him know that he was going to, because he had made some comments about the intelligence agencies. Chuck Schumer let him know they'd be after him, and I don't believe Chuck Schumer ever spoke truer words. So here we go.
He's taking these shots, this antagonism,
Yep.
this taunting to the intelligence
Let me tell
community.
you take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated
I don't know,
to?
but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them.
Right? So don't criticize the intelligence agencies, because they have 6 ways from Sunday to get back at you.
They'll get you.
They'll get you. That's America. Yep, that's America. That's the leftist ideals of democracy, freedom, and America. Chuck Schumer. The intelligence community has 6 ways a Sunday to get back at you if you criticize them. That's good. That's the American way.
All right, now it's time for a segment that we like to call the I Told You Show.
Mm-hmm.
This dates way back to May 15th, 2010. We did an interview with a gentleman named Wayne Allen Root. He's a self-made millionaire. He's a contributor to The Blaze, former Libertarian candidate for vice president. But his biggest claim to fame was that on May 15th, 2010, he was on the Baldy and the Blonde show.
That's right.
And we were mostly talking his political stances, that sort of thing, as a libertarian. But we opened the conversation with his interesting take on Obama's years at Columbia, because Wayne Allen Root graduated in 1983, the same year Obama is reported to have graduated from there. But Root never met him, never heard of him, and neither had any of Root's classmates. Now, Now, Root's not denying that Obama technically graduated from Columbia, but he is saying this dude never went to class. Anyway, the sound clip will speak for itself. It is number 21.
Yep, here we go. I understand that you went to Columbia and had the same major and graduated in the same year as Mr. Obama. Is that right?
I went to Columbia University for 4 years. I graduated in the class of 83. Barack Obama claims he graduated class of 83 Columbia, so he says he's my classmate. I've never met him. I've never heard of him. I don't know anyone who met him, and I don't know anyone who heard of him. And I thought I was the most, popular and loudmouth classmate you'll ever have. I think you could tell I'm not shy.
I can tell.
I knew everyone, and here's the other interesting thing. He claims his major was political science, my major, political science. He was pre-law, my major, pre-law. The entire class of 83 at Columbia was only 700 kids. Political science pre-law, maybe 250 of them. How would it be possible that not only don't I know him at all, but that no one I know who went to Columbia ever met anyone by that name or remembers anyone who looked like the pictures he's produced of him in college?
I mean, that's us. That's me interviewing Wayne Allen Root in 2010 on the old Baldy and The Blonde show. It's pretty weird. So,
Yep. So check this out. Then a few years later, he wrote an article about his just having attended Columbia's 30-year reunion.
Oh, yeah.
It was in 2013. Yeah. And what he wrote was, he says, I celebrated with my esteemed classmates, everyone except Barack Obama. As usual, he wasn't there. Not a trace. Not a video greeting. Not a letter. I could not find any classmates who knew him. And then later in the article, he quotes a guy who was a professor at Columbia for 46 years. Henry Graff is his name. Let me read you this quote.
Yeah.
This really is shocking. This guy says, again, he was a professor there for 46 years. He said, I taught every significant politician that ever studied at Columbia. Between American history and diplomatic history, one way or another, they all had to come through my classes. Not Obama. I never had a student with that name in any of my classes. I never met him, never saw him, never heard of him. And later he was quoted as saying, none of the other Columbia professors knew him either.
Man.
And he closes the interview with, I am angry when I hear Obama called the first president of the United States from Columbia University. I don't consider him a Columbia student. I have no idea what he did on the Columbia campus. No one knows him.
That's so bizarre.
It is bizarre.
I remember too that Wayne Allen Root said for their 10-year or 15-year, I don't remember, college reunion, they picked somebody to speak. And
well, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to. Well, you know who that person was?
Yes.
That they brought to speak?
Wayne Allen Root. Yes, not Barack Obama.
And that's when Obama was a United States senator.
Yeah. So
the
you would
reason they
think
brought in Wayne Allen Root, they'd never heard of Obama.
Never heard of Obama. Can you imagine? This guy, I still, I'm sorry. I still think he was a Manchurian candidate. He was raised by Barry Sotero, whatever the man's name was, Lula Sotero. His mother was working in connection with the CIA and Timothy Geithner's mom and dad, and the whole thing is very sneaky and weird. And let's not even talk about the birth certificate, but I mean, come on. Now it all comes to light. He's just a giant snake oil weasel. So
everything about him
everything's creepy, very creepy about him. And here, look, I always would say this. I'd love if on our side of the fence we had a handsome, tall, debonair, well-spoken lizard man like him.
Are you asking me to run? Because I'm not doing it.
Yeah, please do it, Tom. You know what I mean? Wouldn't it be great? Like when we used to be in the Ron Paul camp. I mean, we still are, but when he was running for president, I used to always go, "Oh, if only we could put Ron Paul's mind and thought process inside of Barack Obama's exterior. We could do anything because he was magnificent. He was good looking. He could speak, but he's a fake weasel." He sealed his own college records. What?
Wait, is he a lizard or a weasel?
Well, he's both. He's a lizard weasel. Oh, my God. He's just, I mean, really and truly, if his skin unzipped and a lizard crawled out, it would not be surprised because I think he is a manufactured candidate. I think he's a manufactured person. He's writing love letters to his girlfriend about how he dreams of making love to men at night. He's a bizarre. He's bizarre. Oh wait, we only have 30 seconds. Tom, you got anything to say?
No, except you've really grossed me out with that last statement. I'd rather think of him as a lizard, weasel, or anything other than that.
Okay.
You can take us out of here.
We're Baldy and the Blonde. You can check all of our shows out at baldyandtheblonde.com and follow us on Twitter or X at baldyblonde and baldyandtheblonde.com and on Facebook, the Baldy and the Blonde group. Please join the group and like us. Bye. See you next week.